What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Jovoy. Powerhouse of a fragrance house, guys. Oh, man. Their fragrances are top-notch. I don't care what I'm reviewing from this house. Top-notch is a phrase that comes into my mind every time I smell a fragrance. This is high-caliber stuff. This is stuff that even if you don't like, you will have a high respect for. This is where perfumery should be going. Exploring all of the different facets of, elegant, classy, romantic, niche, off-beaten path, but still just high-end perfumery. This is fragrance and perfumery balance at its finest. This is refinement. This is execution. This house is just bringing the heat. And the fragrance we're going to talk about today is probably the name that I hear the most when it comes to Jovoy. Strap up, we're going for a major ride today.
Okay, I watch that head move side to side as I let this in into the room. You are on time, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Let's not waste any time. I don't want to be long-winded with this. I don't think I will be because I've heard a lot of good things, so I expect a high score from myself today, but I haven't smelled this fragrance in months. So from the house of Jovoy, we have Psychedelique. This is a patchouli lover's dream. This is when people say they want a chocolate cakey patchouli. This is a fragrance that gets mentioned a lot. Patchouli can feel very earthy, very soily. It can be velvety, and it can also come off cakey because it has the texture of cake as far as scent profile. But when you put sweets next to it, that kind of always gives that chocolate cakey vibe, like a vanilla, something like that. Let's just dive straight into this, guys. I'm very curious as to what my evaluation of this fragrance will be. I remember liking it a lot, but now that I've had a couple of wearings with it, I want to be real as far as what I rate it. In the air, it is stunning. In the air, you get the lightest, velvetiest, richest chocolate cake with some spices, some spices, some balsams, some sweetness. That's what's sugary, kind of sprinkled sugary on top of this big body patchouli scent. It's super ambery. It's radiant. Oh, you imagine this would be what like a really, really, really expensive liqueur would be, like a almost like a whiskey or like a super dark rum. It's not rummy. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, as far as like a really good dark, like if they said like a chocolate tequila or a chocolate rum or a chocolate balsamic vinegar type of thing, this is in that wheelhouse. But man, that alone does not do this justice to how rich and high quality this fragrance is. Gosh, I don't remember it feeling very sweet when I smelled it before. And even now, I would only give it like a 5 out of 10 sweetness. But man, that's sweet spot level sweet to me. I remember before I felt like it was only like a 2 or 3 on skin. So matter of fact, I'm going to actually put this on skin to see if it's not as sweet on skin, because I think that'll be really important in terms of my recommendation today to really describe this fragrance to you, because it really is, I don't think it's a question of if you should buy this, because it's highly signature, it's very well done. I think the real question that just glares out to me for men trying this fragrance who haven't tried it before is, Scent Bubble, what age bracket can truly rock this fragrance? Because it's no question all your top fragrance reviewers love this fragrance, right? And so when I look at what kind of value I can provide to you, I think the first thing I need to tell you is that this feels grown. There's serious complexity to it. excuse me. It's not your typical sweet and spicy fragrance, though it is sweet and it is spicy. The sweetness is quite toned down from your traditional Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, Dior Homme Intense, Prada Luna Rosa, Prada Black, what other scents? Dior Sauvage. Those fragrances are more 6 out of 10 or higher. Spice Bomb Extreme, Tom Ford Noir Extreme, Noir. The sweetness is significantly toned down from fragrances like that. But it is a spicy, sweet fragrance, so it will be familiar to you. It won't be too much of a reach when we talk about patchouli scents or grown man scents. There is a bridge, so that's what I love. That means, if you're a teenager, don't touch this. You are going to look like you stole from your dad and potentially your grandfather. And this is a fragrance that I think for my review, what I want to illustrate is that 30 and up, no question, signature scent, blind buy worthy. Unless you have a serious distaste for patchouli. I think it's no brainer, must have this fragrance in your collection. A fragrance like this will make you cancel out 10 or 20 of your fragrances in your collection. Like, basically what I'm saying is, if you have this fragrance for date night, semi-formal, and formal occasions, you won't need much else if you don't want it, okay? It's sensual, it's alluring, it's proper. I can't even call this classy. It's sexy, luxurious elegance. Classy feels light to me. Feels gentlemanly, but light, You need to say the word sexy here. You need to say luxurious. But again, having one of a fragrance like this will make it so that you are pleased to just use this as your signature in all those categories. And another fragrance would have to fight for its life to be worthy enough to sit next to this bottle in your collection. It is less sweet on skin than it is test strip. And even the first time you smell this, it won't smell that sweet. You might get like a 4 out of 10 sweetness the first time you smell this. Maybe a 5. But as it sits, the sweetness does quiet down quite a bit, which I think is important because you basically are left with like a 3 or 4 out of 10 level sweetness. And you have to be comfortable with that, which makes it super masculine. The chocolate cakiness is not gone, but it's more airy now. So good. Again, sorry guys, back to breaking this fragrance down in a way that I think most content creators haven't yet. The real question here is 20-year-olds that want to get into this, because you hear me say things like chocolate cakey, velvety patchouli, and I know that turns you guys on to wanting to at least know what this smells like, especially for people who wanted to love Black Orchid but couldn't because it was too floral. You don't like, if you like something like Bulgari Man in Black, I always talk about the elevation of like, in the spicy sweet, it might go like Prada Black, or, Prada Black and Spice Bomb Extreme kind of fit in the same category, and then an elevation from that might be something like Tom Ford Noir Extreme, Tom Ford Noir Original, or Bulgari Man in Black. But then there's another elevation to that profile, and it would be Psychedelique. So the question is really, for my 20-year-olds out there, can you wear this? That's really the question. 30 and up, no question, signature scent. You got to have it. You just got to have this in your collection. And I think, as somebody who owns Bulgari Man in Black, I love Bulgari Man in Black. I think you should have Bulgari Man in Black. But I think if I'm in a car and if fragrances are cars, I used to tell people that the difference between a fragrance like Bulgari Man in Black next to Noir, Extreme, and Spice Bomb and Prada Black and stuff like that is like the Phantom pulling up to the Chrysler. You know what I'm saying? Like the Phantom is the Bulgari, but I think there's 3 cars in this conversation now where it's like, you know, Chrysler 300 is back here with those fragrances. Then the Bulgari pulls up and it's Phantom. And then the tricked out Maybach is the Psychedelique. And so, my 20-year-olds, man, back to you guys. 25 to 30, I think no question I can recommend this blindly, but you better have exquisite taste. You might not be ready for this as a 25 to 30-year-old. I know grown men who aren't ready for a fragrance like this because they don't have their grooming and they're dressed together and it's just not their, they don't find themselves in semi-formal occasions and formal occasions and eating at expensive restaurants and driving a nice car and things like that. So I can imagine much of the 25 to 30-year-old and even just 20s in general is still figuring life out and never really going to find themselves in the type of places you would wear fragrances like this. But I would hope you are, you know? And so for that reason, ambitious 20-year-olds who might, yeah, you still don't drive a great looking vehicle yet or something. Yeah, maybe you haven't purchased your first home yet. If you still dress like you do and like you can, buy this fragrance because this is a fragrance that will motivate you to get more out of life and to not just settle with being the type of man who can pay some bills and pick up a nice looking girl and that's it. Like, this fragrance would evoke a sense of purpose in you that even if you aren't the kind of man who should be wearing this, you're going to wear this and think, I want more out of my life as a man. You know, I want to groom better. I want to work out. I do want to drive a nice car. It's not about the car. It's about the type of person that can go out and get what he wants because he works hard. You know, I want to be the type of guy who can go in a room and whether I can pick the girls up or not, it is irrelevant. It's can I walk in the room confident and handle myself with any level of woman so that when I walk away, she goes, oh man, like I normally wouldn't be attracted to a guy like that, but gosh, he was dressed well, he smelled fantastic, and he carried himself like he was a boss. You know when you see a guy that just pulls all the women and you don't know why? It's because he's wearing this fragrance and he has all the confidence in the world and he's calling himself to a higher aura. This fragrance is aura in a bottle. So 20-year-olds, I'm going to say this. Don't fake the funk and try to wear this fragrance and be something you're not. But 20-year-olds, you must get your nose on this fragrance. You must. At bare minimum, you must get your nose on this fragrance because it will inspire you. It'll evoke something in you. And I think it will, at bare minimum, speak to you. But you might not be ready for a fragrance like this. If you hate patchouli, run away from this fragrance. I've never met somebody who hates patchouli. It's just one of the finest earthy profiles. You know, it's a profile that has a smell, has a character, and has a texture. So it just pushes dimension into a fragrance like no other. 30 and up, blind buy. Fall, winter, but the fragrance is so signature. Even a guy like me in Arizona, if it's nighttime or I'm going somewhere special or I'm indoors, I'm going to wear it. I could care less what you think about weather and stuff like that. I'm just putting it out there to say in colder weather, this is like perfect for this. But 20-year-olds, get your nose on it at least. And if it speaks to you, man, pull that trigger on it, because even if you're not the type of man for this scent yet, put it on anyway. Don't worry about how people might perceive you. Wear the fragrance and elevate yourself while wearing this fragrance and grow into the man that fully can utilize a fragrance like this, you know? So good. I know that initially I called this a 9 out of 10 fragrance, I think. but my heart's telling me that it's a 10 out of 10. My heart of hearts is telling me this is the highest elevation in its category. I've yet to smell a patchouli scent that is better than this. Only ones that may compete with this. Most of the patchouli scents and warm, woody, ambery scents aren't better than this. So, you know, I didn't even have my stream deck on today, but I'm going to turn it on real quick because this deserves it. Spray test, we have a... So good. I am at this point going to change my initial score from when I smelled it earlier. I'm going to call it a 10 out of 10. So well done. Performance on it, guys. I think 4 to 8 sprays at your discretion. If you're indoors, you can creep into 4 or 5. If you're moving around and going to different places, I think you spray 6 to 8 times. Yeah, it will be heavy, but because you want it to carry. This is a fragrance you want people to know you're in the room and no one smells as good as you. This fragrance, just if you want to know some other nerdy information, got a 4.2 out of 5 out of 2,200 votes. You guys know what I tell you. If it's 4.1 or higher, it is creeping into mass appeal territory. It is above average in terms of if it's a 4, it's worth considering. If it's higher than 4.1, you probably should get your nose on it and you're probably going to buy it. Very good scent profile here. I didn't go through the notes, so let me just go through the notes. I know we're already almost cracking at 20 minutes, so let me just say this and then we'll get out of here. Citruses as the top notes. You do get some of that way later in the fragrance when you start to appreciate little facets of it. Heart notes, we have patchouli, amber, French labdanum, geranium, and rose. You get less of the geranium and rose and more of the patchouli, amber, and labdanum. Base notes, vanilla and musk, and that's just so necessary here. So good, guys. Alternatives is the only conversation I can think about that it's like, guys, you can't get this fragrance in an alternative. I'm just going to keep it tall with you. But if you want something in the wheelhouse of this, the other fragrances I named will attempt to get you there. Prada Black will try, but it lacks in performance. Noir Extreme is totally worthy of a fragrance to own, but it is not better than this. This is about a level or 2 above it. Black Orchid, or even the clone Zara Man, is nowhere near this fragrance, but same note profile. It'll still make you feel good. I think the world of those fragrances, but this is 2 to 3 levels above a fragrance like Black Orchid. Even my Diptyques, my Tempo, I absolutely love that fragrance, but this is like Diptyques Tempo times 10. Bulgari Man in Black is probably the closest fragrance I have to this. And this is about 2 degrees above it. This makes me realize I have to have this in my collection because this profile just is utter balance, perfection in perfumery when it comes to what I think my ideal level of sweetness is in the perfect masculine romantic scent. And it is 3D, 4D, 4-dimensional. It has all kinds of earthiness, velvetiness, silkiness, sensualness, airiness, woodiness, amber. You know, it's just got so many facets to it. You know, you should work your way up to this fragrance. Okay, I think I've talked a lot to the point where even if I'm leaving something out, this will probably be a fragrance where I get a bottle of it and then wind up doing a memoir on it once I get like a year of wear on it or something. But anyways, guys, this was Psychedelique from Jovoy. It did get a perfect for me. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you feel any of the same way as I do? I know most people do, but I'm interested in my crowd, the people who hang out with me, what y'all think. Again, if you don't like patchouli, you're going to smell this and pass it up, but it's not because of the fragrance. It's just because there's a note in it you don't like. But So sexy. I just think this is staple masculinity, staple signature sensual masculinity in a bottle. Like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. I drop episodes every single day, and I am so appreciative of all of the feedback and overwhelming just not feedback, but even just participation that my subscribers have had on this channel. Huge impact on me. I'm not even at 3,000 subs yet, but even though we're growing extremely fast at this point, you guys make it feel like I have 30,000 subs, genuinely, because it's like most people have a ton of subs and then you see 5 comments on their videos and stuff like that. You guys light up the chat, you light up the surveys, you're always attending the giveaways, you're commenting, you're reaching out to me, you're sending me fragrances. You know, I got a private mailbox because of you guys to send me stuff. So I'm just so grateful, so appreciative, and I hope you guys are blessed this week, and definitely get your nose on this scent. It's awesome. So with that being said, stay blessed. This is the Scent Bubble, signing out.